Are you constantly tired and unmotivated or just going through the motions at work? Hi, if you don't know me, I am Barika from Simply Unique Coaching, and I am here to help you. I like to say that I am the leader who learned in the trenches, and I have been leading since 1997. And I like to share different tips and strategies that can help people who are in leadership, looking to get into leadership, or who just want to have a helping hand as it comes to professional development and how to become better in the workplace. And in today's video, I'll show you how to protect your energy, recover from burnout, and build habits that keep you from reaching that breaking point again. And I can tell you, I have been in the space of burnout at least a few times in my life, and I am more adamant about protecting myself and protecting my mindset and my mental health and all of that to ensure that I don't get into that space of burnout. And I do my best to try to avoid being in that place because I want to be as happy and as mentally healthy as possible. And I hope that you want to do the same for yourself. So let's talk about burnout. And a lot of times you may immediately think like, hey, burnout means just being tired or anything that nature. However, burnout is a little bit more significant than that because it's emotional exhaustion. It's when you get to the point where you are at your wits' end and you're like, I can't take any more. I can't do any more. I am done. I am toast. You get to the point where really something has to change in order for things to get better, for your energy to get back and your motivation to be re-inspired. So here are a few common signs of burnout. Constant fatigue, being tired all the time, becoming irritable. That can definitely be a sign of burnout because when we are tired, all of the filters that we would naturally have that would kind of block out some of the things we would think or say or do come down. And it's just like, just putting it all out there. Also, we can experience a loss of motivation and a loss of creativity. And honestly, when we're tired, we just can't think straight. So it is super important that we don't allow ourselves to be so tired that we get to the point of burnout, because in avoiding being burnt out, then we continue to be inspired and creative, and we get to show up and be our best when we are there with others and when we're in the workplace. And let's be honest, we're all humans. So burnout happens to all of us at some point in time. But again, we want to make sure that we recognize those signs so that we can avoid it. Now, let's talk about what should you do if you are already in a space where you're already burnt out. You know you're burnt out, you feel burnt out, you just don't want to do anything. Okay. So, first of all, don't be ashamed of it. We all get there at some point in time. And sometimes we just want to do our best so much and we're trying to burn the candle at both ends, but really that's just not the best. We have to be honest. Multitasking just really is not the best as well. I used to be one of those people that was like, oh, I'm a multitasker. Oh, I'm a multitasker. Not anymore. I try to focus on one thing at a time so that I can bring my best to it so I can get it resolved, solved, and fixed so that I can then turn around and do the next thing to the best of my ability, get it solved, resolved, and fixed. And that I don't have things lingering from one item to the other and they're not really hanging over my head. I really hate that feeling of things just kind of looming over your head that you need to do. And just know you're human. You can only do one thing at a time. And honestly, everything doesn't need to be done by you. And being able to discern, okay, what are the things that actually need my attention? What things are being assigned to me that really don't need my attention or that are not urgent, that can wait? And what are the things that I really need to do that are important? That's going to be really important to also avoid burnout, because just being loaded on with a lot of things to do is not going to be helpful, especially if you're not prioritizing what actually needs to be done versus what can wait. Also, take some time away to reset, not just rest. When you get to the point of burnout, you need to actually reset. You need to reset your mind, your energy, your body, your thinking, all of those things, because that burnout goes more from just being something you're feeling. It's also kind of in your mind as well, as it starts to cling to your body and stuff like that. So you want to get rid of that. You want to let that go. You want to release that and you want to reset yourself so that you are your healthiest and your best all over holistically, spirit, soul, and body. Also, if you need to, definitely feel free to talk to someone, talk to a friend, talk to a boss, talk to a coworker, a therapist. Well, be careful about the coworkers because sometimes you got to be careful. You got to know who you can trust and who you can't. But make sure you talk to somebody that you trust and let them know how you're feeling. And try not to isolate yourself. Unless you're an introvert, you might actually need some isolation. You might need to just sit down and like do nothing real slow. And I can attest to that because I'm an introvert. So sometimes when I feel those feelings of being overwhelmed, I'll just kind of pull back. Whereas before I would push through and push through and push through and push through. And that kind of actually leads to burnout versus if I say, let me sit myself down and then just kind of take things one at a time, get a chance to reconnect with myself to see what I'm feeling, see how I'm feeling and to acknowledge how I'm feeling and process those feelings the right way so that I can go ahead and refine my inspiration and my motivation for continuing to do the things that I'm called to do and the things that I'm put on earth to do. Also, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but really sit down and assess what is it that actually needs your attention? What are the things that can't be done by anybody else that require you to do them? Go ahead and focus on them. But also, even with that, determine which ones are the most necessary, which ones are the most important. Actually, I would say the urgent ones, because those are the things that actually require your attention. And again, a lot of times burnout just comes from just doing too much or feeling like you're under the weight of doing too much, and not really taking that time to rest. We were not meant to go, 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 go. And I can tell you, after living in different countries and in different places, I realized that a lot of the Western culture is very much based on go, 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 and not really taking that time to take a pause. So I understand with the newer generation how they're saying, you want to have the work life balance because that is important to not getting to that place of burnout. And also, one of the things that we can do to avoid burnout is just build in those daily habits that help us to restore, recuperate, refresh, reignite our passions. Do something fun, do something to show yourself some self love, do something that you enjoy, something that makes you smile, and help reconnect back with yourself and with the parts of you that bring you joy and peace and happiness. And then that's going to help reignite that passion. So if it's taking a walk on the beach, if it's hanging out with friends, if it's getting some ice cream, then go ahead and do that as well, because those are going to be the things that are going to help you become your best and to reconnect with yourself and remember who you are and that you're valuable. Now, how can we prevent burnout from the get go so that it doesn't happen again? And of course, we're not perfect, we're human, so we might find ourselves in it at another time in the future, but we want to be able to recognize it a lot sooner. And then also, we want to ensure that we are not allowing ourselves to get there very often. And then when we get there, to recognize it and say, hey, I need to stop this. So, how do we avoid it to begin with? Build in those points where we are able to recuperate and rest and reconnect with ourselves whenever we need to ahead of time. Let's build those into our schedules. Let's have determined times and definitive times of, okay, I'm going to rest on the weekends. Oh, I'm going to rest in the evenings. I'm going to take some time off on my lunch break. I'm going to actually take lunch breaks and not working throughout lunch breaks and other breaks and that kind of thing. Actually taking those times to disconnect, because that is very, very, very important. And in this day and age, there is so much connectivity with cell phones, with emails, with other, different devices and computers and laptops and iPads and all of those things. There are just so many access points, whereas before in the past, people didn't have that much access to us. So we have to make sure that we are protecting and setting up some boundaries so that we can protect our own mental health, because that is important. Also, make sure that you set boundaries around your availability and do things to protect yourself. There are several things that I do to protect myself. I have two phones. I mentioned that in another video. I have a work phone and a personal phone. And when I'm not working, I don't look at my work phone unless I'm expecting something to come up. But when I'm on my downtime, I don't look at my work phone, because that is a way for me to disconnect, to ensure that I'm able to reconnect with myself so that when it's time for me to work again, I can come back in fresh instead of being frazzled, because being frazzled is not the thing that we want, right? Also, learning how to say no or to say not right now. I know that there's a saying that says a lack of planning on your end does not constitute an emergency on my end. And just start to recognize those situations and circumstances where it can be somebody not really planning on their side, but because they're not planning, then all of a sudden they're putting a whole bunch on you. And then you're like, oh my gosh. And now you're feeling the weight of all these things being put on top of you. But really, what it was is that they kind of waited and did a dump. I used to have a manager that, that talked about this. He actually was a director, but he said he had a seagull method of leadership. He said he would come to the meeting, come poop over everything and leave. And after he said that, I actually realized that's really what he did, because he just thought it was fun and he got a kick out of it. So he would just come in, dump a whole lot of crap on everybody, and then just go and let everybody have to hash out all these different things. So you have to understand when those type of people are coming around you, whether they realize that that's what they're doing or not. And then just being able to say, I will get to that at this point in time, or I will get to that, as soon as I can, or this is something I really don't have the capacity for right now, but here's another alternative thing that we can maybe consider that may help meet the need. Or maybe there's someone else on the team that may have some capacity to do that particular task. So earlier we talked about making sure we take the time to rest and recuperate, but also we want to connect with those things that energize us, those things that we're passionate about. So if you like roller skating, go out and roller skate. If you like trying new restaurants, if that's your thing, then go ahead and try new restaurants. If you like browsing the mall or browsing Amazon, don't be spending all your money. Don't spend up everything. Or maybe you like to go on Pinterest and you like to scroll through and look at the pretty decorations or different things. Just figure out those things which are you're passionate about. I know some people like to play sports, like it might be golf or basketball or something of that nature. Or maybe you're a sports fan, maybe you want to watch an NFL game, or what is the other thing, the soccer thing. Maybe you're one of those people, you're into the World Cup, whatever that soccer league is, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but figure out those things that you're passionate about. So today I want you to reflect on your energy level. Where are you at? Are you at an energy high? Are you at an energy Are you at an energy low? Let me know in the comments. I definitely want to know that. And then also, I want you to identify one habit this week that you can implement or change in order to ensure that you avoid burnout and that you protect your personal energy and your personal mental health. Also, feel free to drop down in the comments one of the habits that you do to protect your mental health. What is something that you're doing right now to protect your energy and to protect yourself so that you don't fall into the space and place of burnout? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn more about how to move away from painful situations in your past and to create a more positive mindset, I want you to watch this video next. And with that being said, make it a great day.